Max, great to have you on. Really appreciate it. We're excited to have you on throughout the season, too. Where are you right now? Because you've got some beautiful artwork behind you.
Get that one out of the picture, but I'm in Arizona right now, so it's just my daughter loves the picture of the horse, so we got it in the house.
Nice. I love it. I love it. Hey, I want to start, I mean, on a tougher note here, just because it's one of your boys. Justin Turner hit by the pitch in his face yesterday. We covered it earlier. I'm sure you've sent him a text, something like that. It was good to see. Scan's good. No facial fracture, has the stitches. Courtney was tweeting that he gets home right away and he wants to listen to the game. So did you get to see it and communicate with him at all?
Yeah, that sounds exactly like him. Just not going to take any time off from that one. I actually sent him a couple texts last night. He responded back. Seemed like he was doing pretty good. I mean, I'm sure there was, he had some things running through his system, but he seemed like he was in pretty good spirits. It was tough to see. We all saw it happen in the clubhouse, and we were, devastated to see it. That's our guy, but thankfully he's doing good, and thankfully it's not as bad as what it looked like it could have been.
Max, you don't wear a C flap, right? You don't wear a C flap when you hit.
When they first came out with them and everyone started wearing it, I tried one, and every swing I took, the helmet came flying off my head, and I said, you know what, I'll just wear it if it happens. I'm not doing this.
Okay, fair enough. No, so people out there don't really know your story, right? Of from Baylor and with the A's, and you kind of were up and down. And Kratz got into this a little bit earlier. Can you just tell us your story from the A's to now where you are as an All-Star player for the Dodgers?
Yeah, I was my last year coming into Oakland. I was kind of more there just like as a insurance guy if anyone got hurt, and sure enough, no one got hurt. And when spring training was over, they basically said that they didn't see any role for me with their team, and they didn't want me taking any at bats from guys they had in the minor leagues at the time. So they released me, and at that point in my career, in my life, I was actually kind of happy about it. I was pretty done with baseball. I wasn't having any fun. It was a dark place for me. I wasn't enjoying it at all. So I went home, sat on the couch, a couple of weeks. Opening day happens, and you're seeing all your friends get out there and get called on the line, and the fireworks are going off, and that kind of reinvigorated me a little bit. And so I started getting to work. I still didn't have a job at this time, but I started getting to work on changing my swing and just changing my mentality. Most importantly, going through some mental stuff. I feel like that was the biggest changes that I always made was just having a different attitude about baseball. And finally, I got a call from the Dodgers, and they said, "Hey, we can put you in Double A if you're okay with that." And I was like, "Yeah, I just want to play." Then that was right away. I knew it was just different. Just understanding that I was going to be in Double A, but I just wanted to have a job and play. Sign with the Dodgers, come over here. I get sent to Arizona to do all the physicals and blood work and that kind of stuff. And when that finished up, they actually had some injuries happen. And I believe that was right around the time that Cody Bellinger got called up. And so they had a spot open in AAA, and they sent me there. And then I ended up having one of my best seasons that I'd ever had. And then the next year, signed back with them, and kind of the rest is history.
So this is from somebody who signs a lot of AAA contracts. Like you're reinvigorated after you had just reached your life goal, make the big leagues with the A's, and you're like, God, I'm kind of over the game. And you redid everything. You changed your swing up, and then you absolutely balled out in AAA. Most people don't look at AAA numbers. You killed it. You re-sign with them, and then you go to camp, and you don't make the team out of camp. It's like April, I think I looked it up, April 17th, maybe you get called
Yeah.
up. Are you pissed at the end of camp when that happens?
Well, no. So at the end of 17, I was pissed that I didn't get called up after having that year. But at the same time, I also understood, because when you looked at that team they had in 17, there was no spots to be filled. There was no reason to call anyone up. The only spot that needed to be filled was they needed a shortstop because Seager's arm was hurting, and that was when they called up Charlie Culberson. Just the baseball mind in me completely understood why I didn't get called up in 17, but I was also mad about it. So I didn't really want to sign back with them coming into 18. They were like, why don't you want to sign back? And I was like, well, I didn't get a chance to even just, come up in September and just play a game here or there after the year I just had. And, I'm going to go somewhere where I can get a chance. And then, um, the more reasonable minded that I had kind of spoke out and was like, hey, you're comfortable here. You just had a great year. There's something to be said for being with an organization that you feel comfortable with, that was willing to give you kind of a second chance. And so I stuck it out. And then that spring I come in and I had a really good spring. But it's actually a funny story. We actually had this sickness that went around the clubhouse in spring, and it stemmed from the hot tub. Like 40 of the guys ended up getting sick to a point where they couldn't even get out of bed for like 4 or 5 days. Something went around and that was people were getting in the hot tub. I never got in there, so I didn't get sick. And it allowed me to play like 8 or 9 of the first 10 games, and I was playing like 7 innings in every one of those games. And that kind of put me on the radar. But I finally got that day off. Everyone started getting healthy, and I popped my oblique that first day off. Didn't even happen in a game. I had a day off, taking batting practice, and popped my oblique. So I actually think that was the spring that Justin Turner broke his wrist. And so I actually think I would have made the team out of camp if I was healthy, but I had to get healthy first, and then I got called up pretty much the day that I got healthy.
What a damn roller coaster too, right?
It's
Like
awesome,
you're working your way back, yeah, and then the oblique, but then you eventually get up. So it's awesome and super inspiring too. So Max, did you have a backup plan? Like when you were starting to think, I don't even want to do this necessarily anymore. If it's looking like this, I'm gonna go do blank.
I didn't really have a backup plan because, now if I were to stop playing, I'd still like to be involved with baseball. But back then, I wanted nothing to do with baseball. I was just completely over it. I was done with it. So I didn't know. I was probably going to go back to school and try to finish my degree. I think, I still have maybe a year left to get my degree. And so I was going to go back and do that and figure it out from there. So it was just, I was really more just relieved to be kind of just done with all the stress. And so I just didn't have anything planned out at that time.
What's your degree? What'd you major in?
Well, I was business entrepreneurship, but I changed to general studies my junior year because at the Baylor Business School, you have to get, I think it's a B plus in all of your classes to move on. And I got a B minus in business calculus. So I was gonna have to retake that. And going into my junior year, I was pretty confident I was going to get drafted. So I'm going to switch to general studies for now. Just so I don't have to
business
retake
calculus. Damn business calculus gets you every time, man. That's why AJ didn't go to college. He was not getting business calculus. But you brought up Baylor. Do you know who has the highest WAR of, and since we're talking about WAR all day and my negative 0.1 WAR for my career, who has the highest WAR of all Baylor graduates? Not graduates, but people that went there.
If it's not me, I would say either Jason Jennings or Kip Wells. Or no, probably Ted Lyons if you can go back that far.
I don't know. I didn't see Ted Lyons on there, but Jason Jennings has an 11 point. I wrote it down. 11.2. You're way ahead. You're at like 17.3.
Oh,
like,
wow.
You're absolutely you're on the wall. Are you choosing the position that you're playing in the alumni game when you go back to Baylor?
No, I'm not playing in the alumni game. It's they don't allow that. So
who doesn't allow
it? It's everybody.
Yeah. After the career, you can go back and play. No.
Yeah, after the career, we'll go back and play in it for sure. But
yeah,
I would have. I would have guessed Jennings. Just but he was a pitcher, so it's probably hard for him to accumulate some of that WAR. But he did win Rookie of the Year. I think it was in '98, maybe.
He had homers too.
Yeah, he's one of the best hitters that come out of Baylor. Besides either him or David Murphy are the two of the best hitters, surprisingly.
What about Kelly Shopik?
Great player, great catcher. But I don't think he played enough years to get the WAR. So I don't know.
So Max, we're talking about positions. Are you playing second? Where are you playing for the Dodgers this year? Second, third, utility? Like what's the position?
I think I'm playing third, but that's kind of how the Dodgers do things. You just never know. Plans can change. But I think right now the plan is for me to play third.
What's your favorite one? Second, third,
first?
DH, first?
Not DH. I hate DHing. That's my
Okay.
least favorite thing. I don't know how to do it. I think too much. So, when I'm DHing and I get, 2 innings of just sitting in the dugout in between at bats, I drive myself crazy. So I hate DHing. I don't like doing that. Um, having gotten to play a lot of third last year, I think third is now one of my favorite positions. I never really felt comfortable over there just playing once every week or once every 2 weeks, filling in for JT when he had his off days, just, kind of bouncing over there. But now that I'm playing there consistently, I'm actually really enjoying it. It's a tough position to play.
Do you enjoy it when like a big right-handed hitter's coming up and they're like infield in here, run around third, and you got, I don't know, let's say Aaron Judge is up and you're like, oh, or Manny Machado's
Like,
up and
oh,
you're
shit.
on the grass and you're like, oh God, please don't hit it to me because I might, get injured.
What's funny is obviously that's not an ideal situation. But what's funny is I enjoy that more than I did when I was playing first and you're holding the guy on and you have, a big left-handed thumper up there. I don't know why it just feels completely different. Maybe because a righty, you think you might actually get a ground ball, whereas a lefty, if that ball is getting hit at you, it's just a rocket.
Hey, Max, so there's one day I think that you told me a couple years ago that you enjoyed being a DH, and that's when Baylor was in, the Final Four, or maybe it was the championship game, whatever it was, right? Can we get a
Yeah,
Baylor
that was
basketball
the national
update?
title game.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was the title game that day.
Yeah. So they actually, that was when they won, and when I was DH and I kept coming up and checking the score.
You didn't have your phone in the
That's
dugout?
probably the only day I enjoyed DHing.
You didn't have your phone in the dugout.
You can't.
You can.
I'd have your phone
Oh,
in the
trust me,
dugout.
you can.
No, you cannot.
Oh, you can.
You can, but you can't legally have your phone.
Well, I mean, as long as they don't, you get a bag,
Right.
you stick it in
But
there,
you
and get it on.
yeah, but you're a DH.
What's
You have
his
time
name
to go
had
to
it
the
in his
clubhouse.
pocket? What's
Yeah,
his
I
name had it in
know,
his
but he
pocket,
got in
sliding into
trouble for
third.
that.
You can.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised he didn't get in more trouble for that one.
Me too. Yeah, I don't even. Who was that? The
Guy slid in the
Pirates.
third base and his phone came flying out.
I'm forgetting the name right now. I'll get it by the time we finish this interview. But you run back to the clubhouse, right? You check the score, and see how Baylor's doing, and they're good again this year, aren't they?
Yeah, we've been good the last several years. I don't think they play as good a defense as they've been playing in the past, but they do have a couple really good guards. I know they have one guard that's supposed to be a pretty high pick this year in the draft, I think.
Oh, Rodolfo Castro. That's the name, by the way, the Pirates guy.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I'm taking your word for that one.
Thank you.
Well
Hey, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, the Padres made the splashes, right? This offseason. The Dodgers have done in the past with Freeman, Betts, and all these guys they brought in. You guys didn't make that move. Has there been talk in camp about, man, the Padres now have Bogarts. They got Tatis coming back. They got Soto. They got Machado. They've got Darvish, and they beat you guys in the playoffs last year. So has there been any talk of, hey, we got to chase the Padres down, or are you guys still considered the favorites?
I think one thing we do really good in our clubhouse is we don't focus too much on, that kind of stuff. Obviously, we talk about the moves the Padres made. It's hard not to talk about the moves they made, just the guys they're bringing in. But at the end of the day, we're trying to focus on just showing up every single day and doing whatever we can to get better for that day, and just focusing on us as a team, because we have some new pieces we're trying to mesh together. We're trying to build our clubhouse back, and I think that's the thing that we're more focused on. And I think we have a full group that understands that if we go out there every day and we're really more just playing ourselves instead of the opponent, if we're trying to, play that day as good as possible, as best as possible, it's not really going to matter who the opponent is or what that opponent has done in the off season or what that opponent might do. It's just one of those things where you just focus on yourself, and you're playing yourself. You're trying to perform the best as possible to that day, do every single thing to get better that day. And we are the Dodgers. At the end of the day, I'm going to feel pretty confident with the outcome for us if we're focused on doing that.
Did it sting last year though when the Padres, the little brother? I mean, it stings when you lose in the playoffs, but to the Padres,
yeah, probably. I mean, it just losing in that round stung. It didn't matter who we were playing. We were arguably one of the best teams in history, and we didn't win the World Series. So it was very, very disappointing for all of us.
I'm transitioning from the Padres to you being a Padre.
Ooh.
And you you're going to be on. I mean, we're watching the reveal party here. You didn't want to throw the soft toss ball where you hit the ball and it explodes blue or pink.
Well, we did that for Sophie. That was how we did that gender reveal, was we did the soft toss. So we didn't want to do it again. And that was after the season. So we were still in LA and we were trying to figure out, what would be the best thing to do. And so we had the kind of, the smoke candles. We thought that was a good idea, because we didn't know what we were having. And so we had the photographer we had both the pink and the blue candles, and we had the photographer pick it out and gave it to us, lit it, and then that was kind of how it went.
You know why, Kratz, he didn't do the soft toss? No, you know why? Because he would have taken it if it wasn't like right down the middle. So whoever was flipping it to him, right? If it had to be perfect, because Max would be like, nope, not swinging, don't care. Even though this is a big deal, not taking.
You're joking around about that, but when we did the soft toss for Sophie, my wife was the one tossing it, and I actually did take it a couple of times. I had to catch it to make sure it didn't break.
You still would have found out, but hey, you know what? Hitters hit, and you control the strike zone now. But you got to now control 2 kids. They're coming. So how are you going to go from, because we had the basketball talk, we had the Padre talk. How are you going to go from zone defense 2-on-1 to man-to-man?
Yeah, we're trying to figure that out. I think if we figure that out, I'll give you the answer then. But we're still a month or 2 away, and we're not sure how that's going to work. But we're obviously very excited about it, and we'll see what strategy we come up with that'll work best. But we're very excited.
I have good news for you, Max. You are going to have a little more time at home because the games are shorter. So what do you think of the rules on the hitting side of things? And when you step up at Dodger Stadium, they're going to play your song for, 5 to 10 seconds short of what it usually was, because of how the games are going so quick.
Yeah, that'll actually be interesting, because in spring training you don't really get walk-up music. So that'll be something that's interesting to see, is when everyone's at home, and especially at Dodger Stadium with that sound system we have, what they're going to do with that. You might have to change how you pick your song. You might have to just get something that's got a nice short beat so that people can get going for it. But yeah, the games have been a lot shorter. The at bats have been a lot quicker. There's not really a whole lot of time to think, but I'm kind of loving the rule changes so far. It's just a little bit of adjustments here and there, but I think it's been fun seeing it in spring training. There's only been 1 or 2 times that I think there's been an issue, and that's in long at bats for both the pitcher and the hitter. I had one the other day where it was 8 or 9 pitches, and I kept fouling pitches off, and I'd already used my timeout, and you're just gassed, and you look out there, the pitcher is just gassed, and it's almost one of those things where you almost wish after like 6 pitches, both the hitter and pitcher got another timeout that they could use. Just little tweaks here and there, but overall, I do love the rules.
Max, what is your walk-up song?
I've always done "Welcome to the Party" by Diplo. I've done that ever since I broke in, and I've kind of always just stuck with it.
You're gonna just stick with it again?
Well, we'll see. I actually haven't even thought about that.
Okay, because
I don't have the answer. I wouldn't lie to you. But
what I'm saying is, if you got to change it, you got to try to find something with like a quick hook, right?
Beat drop. So Max, you like electronic, right?
I'm more like country. I just do that because it sounds good at the stadium.
So what? I'm an EDM guy. You got to pick the beat drop's got to be early on in the song, right? It can't be one of those like leads you up and then it drops like festival banger. It's got to be like within the first 5 to 10 seconds.
That's what I'm saying. You might have to change it because you got to get them hyped. Like you got to get those especially in the first inning when there's like 6,000 people there, and then the 7th inning you have a different one when there's 50,000 people there, and it boom hits on those speakers out in center field.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this rule change will finally allow for the parking lot situation to get fixed a little bit. We need to get people into the games a little quicker. When they're stuck in traffic in the parking lot, the game's almost over. So we got to get them in the game.
Those speakers are legit. There's no better speakers in the game, but if you change your music up, is there pressure there? Like, is there pressure? You change that music, you're like, how many at bats are you giving it until you're like, I only got one walk in the last 6 at bats. Like,
I'm going back.
I need something back. I'm going back to the old, Max Muncy.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you guys played. If it's not working, it's not working. You change it up. It's I mean, because it's not my fault. That's for sure. It's everything else but my fault.
It ain't the song's fault though.
No, it's definitely.
It might be. It might be.
You guys are superstitious.
Yeah, but never about my song.
Really?
Yeah, a song is a song.
Actually, no, a song matters.
Nah,
don't do
it
that,
does.
AJ.
I wasn't a song guy.
Max, we spoke to Edwin Diaz the other day, and he said William Contreras stole his walk-up song, right? And so it was in his head, and he's like, obviously he's striking out the world anyway, but he's like, I'm getting him on 3 pitches, and he did. And he was like laughing about it. He was like, I was pissed, motivated pissed, like kind of your friendly pissed, and he got him. So yeah, it does matter.
It matters,
in that situation, I think it matters.
It doesn't affect if you get a hit or not.
And someone's trying to use your song. So,
yeah, I agree with Max. Yeah, that's his song. Like, that's Edwin Diaz's song. William Contreras can't steal Edwin Diaz's song.
Right.
So someone tries to steal Max Muncy's song, it's a pitcher.
He's homering.
He's trying to go deep like he did off Bumgarner and telling him to get that song out of the damn ocean as he runs around the bases. He ain't being like, oh, we can share the song. Screw that, dude. That's my song.
See, AJ likes songs. Don't let him play. Oh, it's just a song. No,
I'm just saying it didn't affect whether I got a hit or not, but it matters. It matters, especially with, like, Max. If, like I said, if he comes up and he goes into Arizona, Madison Bumgarner's got Max Muncy's song. He's like, I'm going you deep in the pool, buddy. Let's go.
You should have done that to people. You should have played their walk-up song as your song, just to troll them. Max, this was awesome. Really excited to have you on throughout the year. Thanks for making your Foul Territory debut, and we'll talk to you down the road, all right?
Awesome, guys. Thanks for having me. It sounds good to me.
Appreciate it.